In the name of Allah, who is the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum. Things Fall Apart, a critical review. Things Fall Apart takes its title and theme from a poem entitled The Second Coming, written by an Irish poet W.B. Yeats. The relevant lines are: things fall apart, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. H.B. looks back at his Igbo society, specifically at the period when white men broke into it as missionary, trader, and administrator. This awareness of things falling apart is located by Oberica in his accusation of white men. He has put a knife on the things that held us together and we have fallen apart. Things Fall Apart is about a clan which once thought like one, spoke like one, shared a common awareness, and acted like one. The white man came and his coming broke this unity. The title for the German edition of Things Fall Apart is Okonko. This is an apt recognition of Okonko's role. Things Fall Apart opens at the height of Okonko's fame, which he won through solid personal achievements. It was clear that he was destined for great things. He was a renowned wrestler, a wealthy farmer with 3 wives, and winner of 2 titles. His father, Junoka, debtor as he was a weakling. Okonko's personality, his prosperity was visible in his household and beyond it. What nobody knew was that this famous man was leading a life dominated and motivated by fear of failure and weakness, like his father, and fear that the reputation and wealth he had built up would pass on to a worthless son, Noib. Conco's doctrine that only thing worth demonstrating is strength is an outcome of the fears which lie deep within him. By deliberately steeling himself against an open show of any emotion except it be anger, he puts himself beyond the pale reason and isolates himself in a community which normally acts only after making sure that it has a clear and just cause to uphold. Anger and fear are keywords in trying to understand Okonko's role in Things Fall Apart. In anger, he shot at his second wife and narrowly missed committing his first murder. He cut down Ikifuma because he was afraid of being thought weak. In the second part of the novel, we see Okonko in exile among his mother's kinsmen. He carries a violent memory which must submit to the passage of time, and this near passive existence is alien to his nature. Through Oberica, Okonko recovers part of his lost wealth and learns of new developments which only reinforce his despair. H.B. sums up at this stage of his life in a memorable passage. His life had been ruled by a great passion to become one of the lords of the clan. Let us not reason like cowards, said Okonko. If a man comes into my hut and defecates on the floor, what do I do? Do I shut my eyes? No. I take a stick and break his head. This is what a man does. These people are daily pouring filth over us, and Okiki says we should pretend not to see. Okonko made a sound full of disgust. This was a womanly clan, he thought. Such a thing would never happen in his fatherland, Umofia. Even on the eve of his departure from Benta, he cannot conceal his hatred for new religion. An abominable religion has settled among you. A man can now leave his father and his brothers. He can curse the gods of his father and his ancestors like a hunter's dog that suddenly goes mad and turns on his master. I fear for you, I fear for the clan. In part 3, Concord returns to Eumorphia with great hopes. He will fulfill the traditions of his clan and initiate his children into Ozo society, thus once more demonstrating his strength and wealth. He will cleanse this society of new scourge brought on it by Christians. But Eumorphia has changed during his years in exile, and someone else has risen and filled his place.